Hey Denchbags, what's going on? It's Landon Remixes here, and welcome to my review of the Sophomore Studio EP and Monstercat debut by Belgian producer Hush. This one is called Vonk. Now, if you want me to be completely honest here, I had never heard of Hush before his Monstercat debut, Fopspeen, Bound to You, featuring All About She, which dropped in February of this year, and I was actually pretty impressed for the most part. I really liked it. I really liked how the vocals tied into it, and made a really impressive Monstercat debut. Now, the theme of this EP seems to be tied heavily around the Dutch names of this EP. For example, Vonk means spark, Tentakel means tentacle, Dampkring means atmosphere, etc., etc. Really centers around that kind of style with the language barrier and everything. But deeper than that, we're kind of getting into that trap future bass sound once again that's been really popular in the last year or so. We can get out of the way immediately that this EP is not meant to be a heavy banging EP. In fact, the only tracks I really think could be taken as bangers are Fopspeen and Tentakel, Fopspeen being the more heavy future bass style, and Tentakel being a little closer to that experimental trap sound. Meanwhile, the EP is still, for the most part, centered around this really melodic style that Hush seems to be going for. I was actually really surprised when I did a little bit of research on this artist that although he released his debut EP on Skrillex's Ozlaw label with the Nest off-brand of it, he actually didn't build up a lot of popularity until the Monstercat debut. I'm just going to get out of the way that I didn't really love the EP as a whole. I do heavily respect the creative sampling used on tracks like Dampkring, and I really enjoy the experimental trap style used in Tentakel. But on the other hand, most of the tracks I'm enjoying on this are tracks like Fopspeen, and I ended up even liking the original instrumental-centered version a bit better than the newer version. Some other picks are like with the title track Vonk. We get kind of the same kind of quirky melody throughout the entire thing, which gets extremely repetitive and just straight out boring. Dampkring, on the other hand, kind of sounds like it's supposed to be a maybe reggae kind of sounding track, and then leads into this kind of soft melodic future bass drop, which I enjoyed for the most part, but wasn't absolutely in love with. I already got my complaints about the vocal version of Fopspeen out of the way, and that wasn't even necessarily on the production or vocals, because I really, really loved the vocal on this by All About She. On the other hand, one of the ones that I'd probably call my favorites, Tentakel, isn't really perfect either, especially in terms of the vocal line. Very cheesy, just kind of the, I want to take you out, I want to show you off, obviously talking about a girl. And it doesn't really match with the tone of the song, really just being that more experimental style. I feel like it really doesn't complement it well, and although I did like the kind of way the track centers, I definitely do have my picks with it. Overall, didn't really love this EP. I'm gonna go ahead and toss this one a solid 4. Like I said, a few of my favorites on this one definitely aren't perfect, a couple of them being two of the same track, but by this I'm definitely not telling you guys to completely avoid this EP or disrespect Hush as an artist. I feel like this artist has a long way to go, but definitely has a bright future, and I'd love to see where he can go from here. So make sure to check out the Spotify link in the description, listen to it for yourself, and because Fopspeen, the original, is the least played on the EP, probably due to the fact that for one, it comes last, and for two, it's the same as the vocal version, essentially. Most people aren't checking this one out, and because it's one of my favorites, probably my favorite on the EP, you should definitely go listen to this one and not just avoid it because you've heard the vocal version already on Monstercat. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this review, hope it gave you some insight about an artist that's fairly new on the scene, and let me know what you think in the comments. I'll see you guys later. Peace.